We have on Mr. Josh Marston, who is a serial entrepreneur, and he shares with us all about the actual tips, tools, and tactics that you can use to grow your business online and to sell more of your products and services using the ARM5 formula. Let's get into this episode after a quick episode sponsor break. Do you want blissful balance in your personal and professional life? Great. What's up, guys? My name is Kerry Jack, and I want to help you happy hustle a life you love, one full of passion, purpose, and positive impact. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur, a professional model / actor, a digital marketing specialist, a podcast host, author, a biohacker, an eco warrior, a martial artist, a hippie cowboy, and a humanitarian. My goal is to educate, inspire, and entertain you to live a life of passion, purpose, and positive impact. It is time to happy hustle your dream reality. Yee! All right, Josh Marston, my brother, welcome to the Happy Hustle Podcast. I am super stoked to rock the mic with you.
Yeah, me too. Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man, this is going to be a blast because you are a happy hustler. You are a serial entrepreneur who is also a #1 international best-selling author. You own a portfolio of e-commerce companies, and you created the ARM5 formula and so many other cool things to your name, man. It's really been a pleasure to just get to know you because you and I were just on the most recent Montana Mastermind Epic Camping Adventure where we spent 5 days in the wilderness together. And I tell you what, man, like I was very impressed by you and your hiking ability and just how you showed up and played full out, and it's pretty cool because that container allows you to really get to know somebody in a deep way, and I feel super connected to you. So I'm excited to share you and your knowledge and your wisdom with the happy hustlers out there. But before we get into all that good stuff, Josh, what's something interesting about yourself that not too many people know?
Oh yeah, great question. So I was arrested twice as a teenager.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Most people don't know about that because I don't like to talk about it. I mean, it was a long time ago, but it's still like blemishes on my record. So, yeah.
What'd you do? Now we got to know.
Well, okay. So when I was 12, I shoplifted. I was stealing. This is gonna sound super embarrassing, but hey, it's a long time ago now. Power Ranger toys. For some
Oh.
reason, I thought they were collectible, and I was like, I thought that I wanted them, and I snuck them from a store that I used to visit, and I got caught. I got caught. So, and then the other one was this one's actually a funny story. This one's arson. When I was literally 16, so right before my senior year in high school. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So I've had some run-ins with the law, when I was younger. When I was young, dumb, and I'll leave the rest as a blank.
Yeah. I've been there. Trust me. Like I always say, before I was happy hustling, I was just hustling, doing some illegal things that I shouldn't have. And, I definitely learned the hard way. I went to jail for a brief stint as well and got arrested. And, it's just, it definitely adds to the life experience, but I think it's better, all the happy hustlers out there, just learn from Josh and I's mistakes rather than making them yourself, and just operate with integrity. Now I'm full up 100% integrity, as I know you are, and it's like it really once you go awry, you see how much better life can be when you don't have to look over your shoulder, when you don't have to worry about wronging other people because you're doing things the quote unquote right way. So great lesson there.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
I want to
sure.
get right into the good stuff because I'm pretty excited to talk about the ARM5 formula. First and foremost, talk to us about the genesis behind creating the ARM5 formula and what exactly it is.
Yeah, so I was running a marketing agency from early 2013 until late 2021. And for years, probably starting around 2018, I would see like a consistent kind of strategy and process that would work to maximize return on ad spend for our clients. And that then became the ARM5 formula, which stands for authority, reciprocity, monetization, and the 5 profit amplifiers. And it really goes back to what we were doing and what we were seeing working best, which is to really push out valuable content, both in the form of free content, blog articles, videos, plus lead magnets. That counts as well. Deliver a lot of value as an e-com company, because a lot of e-com companies, they focus so much on just get the sale and that's it. And they don't do marketing across the entire prospect to customer journey, and they're missing the boat. They're missing an opportunity there, because you can only go so far unless you've done this. And if you do it, and if you really have a good plan, you execute on it, I mean, you could really establish a strong brand that is going to be well received, is going to be trusted, that people are going to value, and people are going to be much more receptive to the offers that you're trying to make to them. And that's where the monetization, comes in. Getting them to buy a product, getting them to come back and buy more products. That's the key to business as well, because obviously, you got to make money in business, and you got to maximize customer lifetime value. So that's where the ARM5 formula came from. And we even got it down to a point where we were productizing our service, where we had two plans. They were $6,000 a month and $12,000 a month, plus a performance bonus based on ROAS. So we were based on actual profit that we were generating, our bonuses. And we would implement this into all of our client businesses. Or if the client came in and had some of those pieces, we would then maintain, what they were doing and add to what they were doing. This way we can still achieve the same end result. So that's where the ARM5 formula came from.
Yeah. I mean, it just makes sense. If you think about it, first of all, a lot of people online, especially e-com businesses, like you said, they're in it for the short sale, and then you turn them and burn them. But rather, what you're
Yep.
talking about is you're nurturing customers. You're using authority, right? Reciprocity and monetization as the key, staple of what you're creating for brand equity. And
hmm
then you have these 5 profit amplifiers, which I want to get into. Can we get into just each of them specifically, with the maybe, give the happy hustlers enough, tangible tactics around them so that they can actually
hmm
implement them too in their own business?
Yeah, absolutely. It's fine. I mean, yeah, the 5 profit amplifiers are persuasion, trust, authority engine, testing matrix, and monetization. So they kind of mirror the, ARM, ARM a bit. But I really felt that these 5 profit amplifiers, these are systems, these are processes. And then there's 9 key systems in the ARM5 formula that ecom businesses want to run over time as a scale. They don't have to run them all necessarily right away, but there's 9 key systems over time that you really want to implement, and you really want to maintain at a high level to be able to really grow your business and see significant ROAS, even as you scale your ad spend.
Mm. So for people who don't know what ROAS is, he's talking, just I want to make sure everyone's following and tracking here. Return on
Yep.
ad spend. And
Yep.
this is a very key metric when you're talking about spending money to acquire customers. You want to know that you're getting a return on your money spent, right? You also mentioned a couple other things, in terms of creating processes and systems and customer lifetime value. Um,
hmm
Walk us through, if someone's out there listening and they're like, okay, hey, Josh, this sounds great. This ARM5 formula, right? This is a big piece to the puzzle when you're growing and scaling a business online. What is the actual first step if someone's gonna, if they're coming to you and you're like, hey, they're saying I got something I sell either a product or service online, and they're
hmm
like, I want to sell more of it, Josh. What's your process? How do we take them through the ARM5 formula in a real, tangible way?
Yeah. Well, man, you're bringing me back to my marketing agency days, so I'm gonna have to put my marketing hat back on here.
Do it.
But we have this process we've used for a very long time, and it started uh, by a digital marketer teaching me. I was one of the first 12 certified partners in late 2014, and they first taught me their double your sales map process, basically. And then I transformed it and I added my own stuff to it, and I made it the marketing performance diagnosis. It sounds super sciencey, but it really makes a big impact when we start with brands. Like now we buy companies and we don't even work with clients, but when we buy companies, we still go through that same marketing performance diagnosis process to really identify low hanging fruit, long-term improvements, where the business is at right now, where are the gaps, and we really identify like, okay, what systems, what projects do we really need to focus on right away with this company, and also what do we need to maintain coming in, this way we can see a smooth day zero to day one transition as well, so we go through this process. It's a very rigorous process where the owner will go through this long questionnaire, and then we'll get all that information, and then we'll put it into the diagnosis, which is already templatized, and we really then go through like all their competitors, really go through all the ad research, the SEO research, even come up with some findings from that we can apply to this specific business. We identify the avatar. We identify like what's the best prospect to customer journey for this specific business, and we're definitely going to see some gaps there every single time, and we'll be able to fill those gaps. And then we come up with recommendations out of the gates that we want to apply to this business. This way we can have a impact right away within the first 30-45 days, but then also just a long-term impact as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of gold there, and I don't want people to get overwhelmed, but truly, like that's the game. Josh just explained it. Like you have to start with the diagnosis, really figure out where the holes are in your process when you're, it really comes down to marketing, sales, and fulfillment. There's three pieces to business, truly,
Yeah.
in its rawest form. And Josh is talking about plugging the holes in each of those different buckets, making sure that you have a smooth process. You did
Yep.
mention, buying companies now rather than working with one-on-one
Yep.
clients. Talk to us
Yep.
about that evolution. And I know like you guys are literally acquiring companies regularly, and they're part of your portfolio of e-com brands that you apply
Yep.
the ARM5 to. What's that been like to actually now, instead of working like with individual clients per se, now you're just straight up
Hmm.
buying companies? What's that process look like?
Uh, well, it's like my first thought when you said that was it's like unshackling the chains. Um, and it's just I was at a point where I was a bit burnt out on the agency model, and I had been for a while. I mean, I actually went through 5 potential buyers of my agency from early 2020 to late 2021. I had 5 LOIs, and they all fell through for different reasons, unrelated to me and the business. It was really related to those situations, and so I was ready to like move on for quite some time, and I really wanted to make a bigger impact on my wealth building, and where I want to go with my life. And I was just waiting for the agency to sell. And then finally, when it didn't, I just said, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to take the bull by the horns, and I'm just going to transform my agency into the aggregator, and I'm just going to move forward here. I just got to the point where I was like, I'm just going to make it happen. And so that's what happened, going into 2022, and in late 2021, I even though the agency was kind of like it was weaker than it had been, because and there's a backstory there. Like in early 2021, I sold half my business, and then we brought the agency client base down because we wanted to fit the bandwidth into the plans, basically with his current team. And then when the partnership didn't work, I was left with a smaller business, and so I was grinding it out throughout 2021 because of that. But
Hmm.
the positives that came out of late 2021, as that was happening, as I was keeping things afloat, were that I was learning how to buy businesses from Roland Frazier. So hats off to Roland for the work he does. I really learned a lot from Roland and his community, and then Adam Lyons, also a good friend of mine, great guy. They both were instrumental and super impactful in just teaching, in the community, not just me directly, but in the community, how to approach a business, how to make an offer for a business, how to structure that offer, what are the variations that you can use to be able to structure that offer right, and get the deal closed. And so I went through that entire training, and I'm really good at reading or going through some training and applying. Like I'm an action taker. I always
Hmm.
have been. And I've there's books I'm looking at over here that I've read, and I've applied, read, and I've applied, and I just do that. And so in 2021, that's what I did with the Epic program, with Roland's program, is I applied it. And and then going into 2022, I had my first businesses on LOIs, and we were planning on buying it with uh, the purchase of my business and this big partnership we were doing in late 2021, where we were going to become an aggregator and possibly be worth about 1.5 billion, literally, in a year and a half.
Whoa.
And so I had, up to that point, I had worked to get some business sellers to final offers, where we can then buy those businesses once the funding hits. And then when that whole partnership opportunity just dissolved, it had nothing to do with me. It had to do with one of the owners in the four that we were all coming together. He owned a software company, and he would sell his business to the guy that was leading this this group, this Fantastic Four. Let's just put it that way. Um, and and so I went ahead and just as soon as I knew it and confirmed that that was being dissolved in late January of 2022, I just went ahead and just went back to the sellers, negotiated different terms so this way I could still buy those businesses with my own cash, and I made it happen. And then from that point, we started to move very fast, because I just identified that there's a lot of value that I could provide for myself and our team and our company by buying e-com companies. But then two, I also identified that, and I knew I had an idea going into 2022 that this was a big opportunity, and I didn't know exactly that I was going to really unlock this opportunity. But in early 2022, as I was brainstorming and really identifying the new model, basically, I did see this, and then I went back to it, and that was selling aged ecom automation store offers. So ecom automation stores, they're basically investments for people to make where they can own an ecom store. Typically, it's new. Like there's a lot of businesses selling the prospect of getting a brand new ecom business and being the owner of a brand new ecom business where you own the majority, and then we own the other share, and we run it, and you don't do anything. That's why it's called automation. And
Hmm.
and I never liked that model. It had been presented to me a few years back, and I was like, that's just going to rip people off, because establishing a business, that's not easy. Establishing marketing, getting marketing to work, that's not easy either. That's going to take like several iterations. It's going to take a lot of time. And then what ends up happening is people are going to burn out. They're going to waste their energy. They're also going to waste their money, and they're going to waste their time, which is opportunity cost. And I was like, I remember I had a director of operations at one point pitch to me us doing that, and I said no, like that's unethical. I'm not going to do that. And but I did feel that if we did the same model, but we did it with established, successful, profitable e-com companies, like that's a good model. Now we're really providing real value and real impact, and we're hedging the risk. And so I started selling aged e-com automation stores out of our acquisitions in 2022, and then we just 10x basically versus the previous year over the course of 2022, by doing that and by buying ecom businesses. And while we were buying ecom businesses, our process also just grew. Like we really worked on it, and we really optimized our buying process. So this way, we're doing lots of due diligence, and we're catching things before things come in, because we made some mistakes with some of the earlier acquisitions, which is going to happen, in entrepreneurship. You're going to dive in, you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to learn from them. The key is
Yep.
you're going to learn and you're going to apply. And that's what we did very fast. And we did that very fast throughout 2022 and then coming into 2023. And now we're at a point where I feel very confident about our buying process. It's super rigorous, and we're not buying beat up Chevys. We're not buying companies that have red flags. Super picky on yellow flags, but we're ideally looking for no flags. And we're putting businesses in our portfolio that we know are good businesses, and we're also helping people get into these businesses in our investor community. This way, they can get into a really good, established, profitable, successful e-com company with low risk.
Hmm.
Does that
Yeah,
explain it?
that explains it. I think probably more so than most people could even fathom, like the whole process. But it really does help paint the picture of what's possible online. And when you grow to a certain degree, like when you have a solid formula that works, then you can apply it in different verticals, right? And
Yeah.
that can be universal for any happy hustler out there listening and watching. It's like whatever you're doing right now, if you're having success with it, quote unquote, right? Success, you could potentially take that and scale it in a different vertical. And I do want to just kind of understand because I'm sure a lot of the happy hustlers that are out there, they're like, okay, wait, so you're telling me if I want to invest with Josh's portfolio of ecom companies, I basically throw in money to a pool that you then use to then purchase ecom businesses that I then get passive income as a result. Is that just in layman's terms pretty accurate?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. hmm
So
But
so if
the important like
yeah.
benefit is that they get an exit check too when we go to sell, and that's really
Hmm.
where the money's made. There's passive income eligibility every single month, but the exit check is really why people come into our community and get involved with what we're doing.
Hmm. Now that makes sense. So what's what's been your exit time frame typically? Let's say, when you purchase a company, I know you just are kind of getting, the wheels turning as you're starting to scale, but like
hmm
are we talking 12 months to an exit, usually longer? What's a typical, what do you hope for?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, our vision is to sell within 1 to 3 years. And we actually want to do a portfolio roll up once a year, ideally, because there's higher multiples with that. So we're really trying to engineer those types of exits. This way we can have a big 9-figure exit at least once in the next 3 years. That's our big, hairy, audacious goal. So we haven't sold any businesses yet. I mean, we've only been doing this for 18 months.
Hmm.
But we already have at least one business that is in a prime position to sell early next year and should 4x what we bought it for also.
Well, that's awesome. How many companies are in the portfolio currently?
We have 9 right now.
9. Awesome.
Yep.
And I think, a lot of people out there, they're either aspiring entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs. They're happy hustlers who want that freedom that comes with business ownership if you do it right. If you don't do it right, then it just becomes a job. Now, I'm curious, when you've now looked at a ton of different businesses like under the hood. I'd like
hmm
to stay there for a beat and really understand when you look for a business, what do you look for specifically that makes a solid acquisition? And then what do business owners need to be building in order to be sellable?
Yeah. Okay. Those are 2 questions. Second question was, what do business owners need to do to prepare themselves for a sale? And then first question was, what do I look for when I'm buying a
Yep.
business? So, okay. Yeah. So for now, we're buying businesses. Our buy box is between 1 to 5 million. We're also looking for businesses that are coming in hot, meaning that they're actually making sales. And there's no dead spots in the last 90 days. They're
Yeah.
consistently making sales. So we don't have to regurgitate the business and get the business back on track. We don't want to do that. We also are looking for businesses that have little to no debt. Little debt is a yellow flag. We might still consider it, but no debt ideally is really what we're looking for. We're looking for businesses that don't have legal threats on them. That can obviously shut everything down, which I've unfortunately experienced due to an unethical seller. We can go there if you want at some point today. Besides that, we're looking for businesses we can really add value to. And the nice thing about my team and myself and our processes and our background as an agency is, as I mentioned earlier, we can go into any business, we can do a diagnosis, and we can really identify how to grow this business. Like I'm confident I could step in any single business, even outside of physical product ecom, and I can come up with a plan that's going to grow their business much faster and more efficiently than what's currently happening in that business. And so, we're looking at businesses and we're seeing how we can apply our concepts and our strategies and our processes to also do the same. And so we're looking for that as well. And, it's great if a company comes in and has some complementary strategies and processes that are already working that we can then step into. But yeah, I mean, that's really it. And then there's, obviously profitability, making sure that, the company is profitable over the last 12 months. We're not looking for companies that have posted a negative net profit in the last 12 months. If they've had like maybe a few months, but they've course corrected, we'll consider it. But that's, again, a yellow flag. That's one characteristic we also screen for as well. Yeah, besides that, I mean, if it's a good business, it has a good product, and supply chain is also, scalable as well, which, could be obviously a yellow flag. Then yeah, we'll consider buying the business, and we'll try to make an offer and try to get them to agree to a reasonable offer that we feel like is realistic, based on the company and the characteristics of the company, and also the total net profit over the last 12 months. And then hopefully at that point we can come to a final offer that both sides agree to. So that answers your first question.
Yep.
We can talk about the second question, but do you want to talk about that first?
No, I think you crushed it. I mean, knowing just what you're looking for, and I think it helps everyone just understand, like, that's the important characteristics of a business. If you want to build an entity that could potentially, be acquired by Josh and his team, or even just probably a lot of other business, aggregators out there, like, this is what they look for. So that was helpful. Yeah, let's
Hmm.
talk about the second piece, because having, like, the sellable nature of a business, even if you never decide you want to sell, right? That's like what I think people, they could get hung up here. They think creating a sellable business means they have to sell. It actually means you have a systemized, operating machine that can hopefully print money for you, and create you
Hmm.
the lifestyle freedom that you desire, right? So
Right.
that's really, why I wanted to ask that question, because I know a lot of people out there, if and I've made this mistake in the past where I became more of a slave to my business, and I didn't actually have systems and processes and strategies around growing and scaling. And here's the other thing too. Not everyone needs to grow and scale. Like, if you have a solid, business that you are making money, and it's very little input of time, like, I applaud you. And like, that's the it's this, like, more disease I talk about, where it's like you always want more growth, more clients, more people, more,
Yep.
whatever,
Usually, yep.
more money. Usually that's like the what everyone thinks is, important. So I wanted to mention that caveat. Like, if you have a solid business that's systematized and sellable, cool, but like, you don't have to always scale. Like, at the end of the day, you can't take it with you. You know what I mean? We're all gonna go,
Yeah.
and it
Yep.
doesn't matter how much wealth you acquire if you didn't get to any time to enjoy it, right? So, all right,
Just
let's talk
upload
about it.
yourself to AI, man, and then you can live
Yeah,
forever. So don't worry about that.
I know exactly your consciousness. Well, we're
Right.
going to talk about AI too, because I want to get your take. But let's
Ooh,
first just
okay.
get into those sellable characteristics that a business
Yeah,
owner
absolutely,
should be
man.
building.
I mean, the biggest thing, and this is the number one thing, is your financial records need to be super clean.
Hmm.
That's the biggest thing. Besides that, I mean, ideally, a business that isn't dependent on paid advertising and is more organic. Paid advertising should be something that complements, the brand and the organic traffic and attention it gets. Also, a brand that isn't married to a personal brand, because then it's not as sellable, because it's not something, it's not a standalone business. Its success is based on the personal brand attached.
Hmm.
Like, we have a brand that we bought that has a personal brand attached, and we knew it, and it's fine. But it was a good brand that we knew we could scale, and so we're working on scaling it. That's the one that we should be able to exit for at least 4x of what we bought it for in about uh, 9 months or so, or less. And we're right now at the point where we're moving the personal brand out. This way we can make it sellable. So
Hmm.
I would recommend that an e-com business owner does the same, or any business owner for that matter. But yeah, I mean, besides that, I mean, just making sure that supply chain is dependable, reliable, is sophisticated, and same with your customer fulfillment, making sure that that is also a great experience also for customers. This way, you're not stepping into trouble or like a bad reputation, which doesn't make the business sellable, which reduces the business's value tremendously, or just takes it off the table where someone wouldn't even consider buying it. So you definitely need to make sure that those two things are also happening to really create a sellable business. But yeah, I mean, and finally, just posting profit, managing the business, efficiently and wisely, and that's big as well. I would say that those characteristics I just went over, that encompasses how to prep your business for sale.
Love it. I mean, a couple things that I want to echo. One, not having your business dependent on paid traffic. That's huge. I think that like the paid traffic game, it can be an amplifier. You can pour fuel on the fire, but the fire's got to be burning organically first and foremost. And I think that's
Yep.
a great place to start. The other thing is, with a personal brand, like you are actually like you are the business, and if you want to create something like sellable, you have to separate yourself to the degree that you know you can potentially walk away and it still works. Right? Like that's a very important piece. That those were really great insights, Josh. I appreciate you kind of going down the rabbit hole into your process and the ARM5 formula. I do want to kind of transition into the AI conversation. I've been
Okay.
learning more and more about it, and I know you have too, and it's like we almost
Hmm.
have to, because it's just going to be a part of our everyday reality even more so than it is today, tomorrow. And so it
Yep.
it just is it's like you have to kind of have the conversation and be prepared.
Yep.
What is your take on AI right now currently in terms of entrepreneurship, and how do you see AI either positively or negatively affecting the business?
Yeah. Well, everybody from business owner down in a company has to adopt AI, period. I mean, that just has to happen, because if you don't, you're going to basically get yourself out of a job or out of a company, because there's going to be threats, from AI impacting business. And if you don't adapt, you're going to die. That's the bottom line. So, I see AI really helping businesses become more efficient, honestly. So there's going to be a positive impact here over time.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Apologies for interrupting your programming, but I have to tell you, the best investment you can make in yourself is one in which helps you acquire skills. You've probably heard people talk about, oh, just invest in yourself and you'll be successful. Yes, that's true to a degree, but you have to invest in skills that will ultimately help you achieve your desired results. And I think one of the best skills one can possess, be it an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, is the sales sword. Really knowing how to sell, utilizing pressure free persuasion, which will make you more money and more impact. Now, if you want to know how to sell more efficiently and effectively, I just launched a sales course called The Proven Roadmap Process to Selling Millions of Dollars and helping you to increase your conversions guaranteed. And you can get access to this new sales course that the Happy Hustle is launching at thehappyhustle.com/sales. And if you act fast, you'll get it at the lowest price it'll ever be available, because we are launching it and we want to gain amazing testimonials and social proof to further share this knowledge. So if you act fast, you can get it at the lowest price it'll ever be. That's at thehappyhustle.com/sales. Now let's get back to this episode.
Um, you know, tools are going to get much more smart, like let's just say ad management tools, for example, and being able to, make adjustments to ad campaigns to get the best performance. Those are going to get smart because of machine learning. Machine learning is where a machine, the AI, learns through its own experiences, and you can kind of influence that, but then it also influences itself. There's that to that. So I mean, so that you just have to adapt to AI, and there's so many applications to it right now. I'm really getting my hands dirty on that right now. I really haven't dove in as much as maybe some others, just because, I've had other things to focus on. But as I've been doing more and more creative work, I've been using AI. Like I was able to spit out a presentation in an hour using Chat GPT and Beautiful AI, for example, recently, and it was a good presentation. Um, so AI can be very powerful, but as long as you really consider it in the right view, and you really adapt it to, your day to day, your company, your processes, and then you can really leverage what it can do for your business as a business owner. And then as far as like just being, you know, a professional, you have to use AI. If you don't, you're gonna again like put yourself out of a job basically, because others are gonna use AI and get more well versed in it, and they're gonna be more valuable than you, even if you've got tons of experience. Because maybe I can get someone else that has similar levels of experience, but they know how to use AI, so they can do more work faster. Who am I going to hire? I'm going to hire this guy. Because as a business owner, people first, obviously, but at the same time, you always got to look at your business from a binary standpoint, meaning that you're always trying to cut costs. You're always trying to, maximize efficiency and maximize profit. And it's not in humans. It's just the nature of business, and therefore, for example, my team. This is something I'm actually about to really go over with them over the next week. They need to adapt AI to each of their positions in order to be able to stay long term. Otherwise, if they don't, if I see it, I'm going to obviously look for someone else to replace a role in my company, just because I need to really maximize impact and I need to maximize profitability. So that's my take on AI and what business owners and also just professionals need to do when it comes to AI.
Yeah. And I think it's straight up the truth. That's just what it is. Like, I agree with you. I mean, we gotta adapt. We gotta have to implement these new technologies into our day-to-day routines and
Yep.
into our businesses. There is, fear in some. I just was listening to um Mo Gaudat, I believe his last name is,
Okay.
and he was like COO of Google's like AI division for
Oh
years, and he
yeah, yeah,
wrote
yeah.
he wrote
Okay.
Solve for Happy, and he has a new AI book out. Um, and it's like, yeah, there's fear around potentially the machine learning like completely going AWOL and replacing humans and taking over, quote unquote, the world, and like this doom and gloom. I don't see it like the Terminator style where like machines are going to do that in the immediate future. I do think it's a potential possibility as to who programs the AI, and if it gets into some of the wrong hands, that it could be used detrimentally against humanity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm more old school. I would love to just live in the mountains and not have to deal with any of this AI or social media or any of it, and just
Uh-huh.
homestead it up. But
Let's all buy
if
an
I
island. Let's establish
exactly,
our own country.
there you go. Let's do it. It could be the Happy Hustle ARM5 Island, or ARM5 Happy Hustle. The Happy Arm. There
Nobody's
you
gonna
go.
come with that. Maybe Happy Hustle is the name. People will come. If you put
Yeah,
ARM5 in there, people will not come.
that's true. That's true. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, we just have to think about it. Like, this is the world we live in right now, and make the most of it. I mean, we all want, to live a happy, fruitful, fulfilling life, and these are tools that can be utilized to help. So that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah.
I do want to just ask you. I mean, I feel I would be remiss if I didn't. Like, you wrote books on advertising trends and strategies, and you're well versed in what is working and what isn't working. Right now, it's August 2023. What do you see as like the biggest opportunity for advertising for online businesses? Like, is it LinkedIn? Is it YouTube ads? Is still Facebook relevant? Like, what do you see as like, if I had $1,000 to spend and I wanted to get ROAS, you know, where would you put that money? And obviously it's dependent, but just kind of like in generic, terms.
Yeah, generic terms. I mean, you have to have a good strategy, first and foremost. And a strategy is independent on, what medium that you apply the strategy to, whether it's paid advertising, SEO, et cetera. But, um, you know, re- paid advertising channels still work very, very well, like Facebook ads, YouTube ads, TikTok ads now even. Yeah, it really comes down to where you're going to reach your market first and foremost. Because some companies, um, will be able to find their market better on Google and YouTube. But then most companies will find their market on Facebook ads, for example. And then TikTok is really for the lower demographic. If you're trying to target, young adults, for example. Um, and then when it comes to just creative, right now creative drives success, meaning that, you have to have good copy. So, good ad copy. And you also need to have good images, video, and video especially. Video has been trending for a long time now. It's kind of old news now, but video marketing really does a great job of pulling if you have really good video creative. Right now, what's best, at least in physical product ecom, is influencers. Influencer marketing. That is really king right now when it comes to getting the best ROAS. And leveraging micro and also macro influencers as you grow and trying to get macro influencers on. Those types of creatives right now are killing it when it comes to return on ad spend. Especially with the demographics like up to like 35, over 35, especially going in 40s and 50s. Influencer marketing necessarily isn't like the best thing there. I mean, it could definitely work, but those people are a little bit more traditional. So,
Hmm.
good writing, good ad copy really compels them to take action from what I've seen. So,
Yeah.
that's my feedback in regards to that.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, it makes sense. It just depends on your perfect target avatar, who you're really trying to reach. If it's a younger demographic, okay, maybe TikTok. If you want, an older demographic, 40s, 50s, 60s, maybe it's not influencer marketing. Maybe it's, you're writing good copy, old school VSLs, right? You got a
Yeah.
long, landing page with a ton of info and almost more so clickbaity titles, right? That are
Right.
really capturing
Hmm.
the attention. That's really what we're in the game of, is attention. Like that is what business has become. If you want to advertise effectively, you have to capture attention first and foremost, educate and make people aware of your product or service and how it can potentially help them. So
Yep.
that's what it's all about, y'all. Man, Josh, this has been awesome. I know people are probably like, all right, I got to get this guy's like books and I got to join his programs, and I know you have a pretty cool group that you run, that you wanted to extend an invite to the Happy Hustlers. Tell people what that group is all about and where they can go.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been doing this free group for the past 12 plus months, and our vision, our mission for it is to really provide a lot of impact to wealth building for everybody in the group. And first and foremost, doing it in e-commerce. But we also are every now and then exploring outside of e-com opportunities that we can vet, that we could bring in to the community and educate the community on as well. So we're really treating this like a wealth building, circle and community. And we have over 1,000 people in there. So we have a lot of people.
Yeah.
So there's lots of engagement. And I also go live every single Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern for at least 30 minutes, but sometimes over an hour even. And that's really where I go live. I educate people on e-commerce in general, and also investing in e-com and making moves in e-com, and answer any questions that people have. No questions off the table. And I really strive to provide a lot of value, a lot of impact. This way people have clarity every single Thursday coming out of that webinar, and then they can obviously take massive action when they have clarity. So I would, if people are interested in finding out more about building wealth in e-com, where you can, at some point maybe work with us or do your own thing, that's fine, whatever you choose. But let's just say you work with us, you'll actually have almost fractional ownership. It's not actual ownership, so there's no liability, but you have basically ownership on the upside of being a part of a company, where you have profit share eligibility every single month. You also have a percent of the future sale of the company too, and very minimal risk. We've hedged the risk. We're buying established, profitable, successful e-com companies. We also guarantee the investment back in 12 months in every single agreement. So we've really de-risked
Yeah.
this opportunity, and it's a win-win. It's a win-win across the board, because our opportunities start at 25K, but they also require a line of credit, a 25K standard line of credit, doesn't go up, stays at that. And this way, we are creating more financial leverage in every single e-com company we buy versus just depending on the cash in the business, which can restrict growth. So that allows us to really scale these companies much faster, which benefits everybody involved. So, like I said, it's a win-win-win. So, if someone wants to find out more, click on this link, in the show notes, or
Mhm.
however you're getting to this link, click on it, join. It's a free group. I also have a free report where I show you and I teach you, you know, how you can really possibly 10x your cash here in the next 3 years or less in e-commerce. So you get both by signing up, and then like I said, I go live every single Thursday, and we've got some exciting things on the horizon that we're going to be doing with the group to add more value to the group. And it's really a great place for anybody that really wants to build wealth. Period.
Yeah, I love it, man. And we'll put that link in the show notes, guys, because it is a longer link, and we just want to make sure everyone gets to the right spot. So check out that link if you guys want to build some wealth, learn more about how you could potentially invest in ecom businesses with Josh, and really just get that. Actually, I see it here. It's like that powerful report on how to 5 to 10x your hard-earned cash in ecom.
Yep.
Um, I mean, it's pretty cool. I love what you're up to, man, and yeah, just excited to see it flourish. And I know I want to mention this because I know one of the businesses that you might be purchasing in the near future. This interaction took place on the Montana Mastermind. Speak to that, just without getting too deep into details. What's on the horizon potentially?
Yeah. I'm going to say a few things about that actually. So, for one, whenever I've taken the chance and just registered for something, and I felt a little nervous about it, but I still did it, and then I go, there's always ROI every
Yeah,
single time. And it's funny how that works out, because even leading up to the Montana Mastermind, I was a little like, should I go? Because like I
yeah,
had just let go of my COO, or actually at the time he was
yeah,
stepping down in like 2 weeks, and then I fired him literally the day before that I
yep,
left because of what happened in a meeting. And I was like on the verge of like, I mean, I never got to a point where I really was going to shoot a text or an email or anything, but I
yeah,
thought about it and I felt nervous about going. And I was like, should I go? And I even asked my CEO coach, like, would you go in my shoes? And he gave me a very like neutral answer, and I was just like, okay, you're real helpful, thank you. I appreciate it. And and so anyway, bottom line is I went, and then I got some beautiful opportunities came out of it. And whether these opportunities work out or not, I mean, it's still just incredible just to even be in the conversation about this opportunity that we both know about. And I would be if it happens. I mean, I'm going to be just very just feeling very blessed. Very fortunate that it happened, because it's just an incredible story. If it does happen, just going all the way back to uh, 2014, I believe, when I first got exposed to his company and the work he does, and the content he produces. And it really helped me and really kind of inspired me. And then, I towards the end of 2014, I felt like I really wanted to get out of the office, the home office that I was trapped in all the time, and network and connect, and and try to get over the whole me against the world mentality. And one of the things I did was, I heard in a Facebook group that I was in, that he also is a part of and owns, that he was going to do a dinner meetup in San Diego. And because it's in San Diego, I'm thinking to myself, I know he lives in San Diego. There's a chance I might be able to meet him. And so, I went ahead and just on a whim, literally just drove out there from Phoenix, so 5 hours, 6 hours, went to dinner that night, and he did show, and it was a small group, and that's how I met him. And, and then the
it's
rest is
awesome.
history. Like, we've had moments since, and we've
Yeah,
developed a friendship since. And it's a cool backstory. If it does go through, it's going to be a great backstory, and it's going to be something I'm super grateful for, and probably for the rest of my life. I mean, I'm grateful for everything, but this is something very
yeah,
unique. And it definitely would feel like that a higher power had a hand here, if it does go through. So um
yeah.
so that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. Well, I just want to highlight like the fact is that's where the magic happens in entrepreneurship. It's not behind your keyboard. It's not in your home office. It's getting out, meeting people, going to events, going to conferences, going to masterminds, and
Yep.
taking chances. Like that's where it
Yep.
happens. And that's what I really wanted to just highlight, because we had an amazing time. Yeah, mixing business with pleasure, but like real stuff happens from those connections. And that's
Yep.
like, we're talking like 8-figure deals, guys, big opportunities here, that it's all because Josh took a chance and went for it. And that's where, I really wanted to just highlight, like, it's important to take those chances and to do things that are outside of your comfort zone. So
Yeah.
love that,
100%.
man.
100%, man. And I know that a lot of people feel afraid to spend money if they're in a younger business.
Mm.
But in late 2014, I spent 10,000 I didn't have, and I became one of the first digital marketer certified partners, and it 10x my business in 6 months. I mean, so you got to take that leap and just believe in yourself, and just and believe in the possibilities, and not let fear get to you. It's all about faith. So I'll just leave people with that, just because I know that you have an audience that can really get a lot of value out of that. And I would just encourage people to take more risk, and if you put the work in, the universe will meet you halfway, and you'll get ROI out of it.
Love it. Boom. Josh, this has been awesome, man. I do want to respect your time and wrap this up. Let's just knock out these happy hustle hacks. Give us a health hack, something that you deem, a tip, a tool, a tactic that's a little unique, that maybe we could call a happy hustle hack.
Okay, sounds good. So I do a tonic most mornings, or in the middle of the day when I need an energy boost, and it is colloidal silver, methylene blue. That's the unique one, and an anti-allergy liquid as well. So that is a little bit of a hack that I do that really boosts my clarity, my cognitive ability, gives me like natural energy, and just I'm able to really get focused and get a lot of work done on it.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a lot of studies on methylene blue and its effectiveness. I used to use it when I was deep in the biohacking game, and colloidal silver I use regularly as well.
Nice.
Colloidal, I guess, I don't know how you say it properly, but anyway, that's a good one, man. Let's talk about
Yep.
money. I see money as a tool. It makes you more of who you are. Um, Truly deep down, it's like a frequency, right? But
Yep.
you need it in order to be a happy hustler. And I'm just wondering if you have something that you deem a happy hustle hack, maybe something that you do to save or invest or spend wisely, something in that arena.
Gotcha. I'm gonna give our friend Garrett Gunderson
Yeah.
an honorary highlight here. So years ago, back in 2016, I met him at Baby Bathwater, and I really resonated
Nice.
with what he said back then. He said that invest in what you know, and so I'm really investing just about 100% in ecom. I've got a few side things outside of that, but my wealth building is strictly in what I'm doing. So,
Mm.
and to me, that's where I'm going to be able to make the most ROI. Now, it's good to have other things to hedge and things like that, and I do have a few other things that I'm definitely working on growing that as well. But I'm investing in what I know, and I know ecom. I know how to grow an ecom company. I know how to maximize the value of an ecom company. I know how to sell an ecom company also, even though I haven't yet, but I know how to, and I know how to sell. So that's what I'm focused on.
Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, and Garrett was on the Montana Mastermind with us, so we got his wisdom around the campfire, his sage words. And Hollis
Yep.
Carter, founder of Baby Bathwater, was on the show, and he's a friend of mine too. So that's awesome. I didn't know
Yeah,
you
I
were a
love
part of
Hollis.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, Hollis is great. We had this epic, man, dude. Like, this is one of the best memories of in my 10 plus years in business. And I need to replicate this soon. So after Baby Bathwater, it was winter. I went with a small group, including Hollis, and we went on a cat, in the back of the woods, back of the mountains, near Powder Mountain, Utah. And then we
Yeah.
hiked. We did this crazy hike to the top of James Peak, and Hollis said most people struggle. I did pretty good. I can hike, and and then we came down, and it was just the most epic memory because we were above the clouds and we went through the clouds as we were coming down. And it was
Heck
completely,
yeah.
backcountry skiing and snowboarding. One of the best memories, in the last 10 plus years since I've been in business owner that I'm very grateful for.
Well, you can replicate something similar at the Winter Montana Mastermind because
Sign
Hollister's
me
just
up.
out
Send
skiing.
me the
Yeah,
link.
yeah, it's coming up. We got a stud group coming out in March 2024 for just a ski and snowboard epic mastermind. So
Nice.
that's the thing, dude. It's just doing fun things with like entrepreneurs and people who are like minded. It's just such a great way to mix business with pleasure. So love
Yeah, for
that.
sure, man. Yep.
Let's talk about spirituality just real quick. Anything in regards to tapping into a higher power, or I don't really care about people's religion per se. I just think it's important as a happy hustler to have faith in something bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
Do you have something here that helps you connect to a deeper meaning of life that you could share as maybe a happy hustle hack?
Yeah. Well, I'm a member of Impact Church, which is a very well-known church in Phoenix that has a phenomenal pastor. He's actually the Phoenix Suns pastor as well. And whether I go or watch it on or listen to it even, I never miss it every week, and that really fuels my spirituality. But besides that, I do have a morning routine where I read a Taoism meditation book that has like 1 page a day, basically, that I read, and I take in the message, and I meditate on it. And I also am big into Ryan Holiday's work and the Daily Stoic, and now I'm doing the Daily Dad. But absolutely agree with what you just said. I didn't realize how important that spirituality would be to my well-being and also my business success up until a few years ago. And I really went through a spiritual journey throughout the 10 plus years in business, where like when I started my business, I was angry at the higher power. And I just came out of 2 relationships back to back over 6 years, and I really went down like a rabbit hole in a way, knocked on hell's door, and then turned around and finally found the light again, and walked from it. And then in 2020, it really opened me up when I drank ayahuasca, and I drank ayahuasca, and it really allowed me to see God, and allowed me to really feel connected, to God, and also us all were connected to Him as well. And that was what really pushed me to get back into the Bible and get back into Christianity, because prior to that, I was in Taoism. Someone introduced me to Taoism with
Yeah.
that book I just mentioned, and for the last year plus, I was reading that daily and I was meditating on it daily. And then ayahuasca really brought me back to how I grew up, because I grew up, a Christian, and my mom is a Christian, and she really taught me Christian values, and it really brought me back to that, and I really appreciate that. So, spirituality is huge, for your own mental, health, but also for just having success in business, because it's going to really help you put, more faith in everything you do in business instead of fear.
Yeah, so well said. And just having faith and connectedness to something bigger than yourself. Again, that's what it's all about. Whether you get it from meditation or breath work or Taoism, which I practice as well, or Christianity, or Buddhism, or whatever it is. Like, just I always think it's important to chill in the still, I like to say, and find meaning through a higher power. So I love that, man. Josh,
Yep.
this has been awesome, bro. Let's just put you through the rapid fire round, then we'll wrap this up. So this is just where I
Yep.
ask you random questions and you answer honestly, first thing that comes to mind. Are you
Got it.
ready?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Favorite food? Go.
Uh, Steak, ribeye,
Favorite movie?
Good Will Hunting.
Favorite book?
Man, that's a tough one. Let's say 80/20 Sales and Marketing by Perry Marshall.
Best business advice?
Focus on your spirituality.
What's your spirit animal?
Ooh, lion.
Make the noise of your happy hustle ARM5 rebel yell.
Oh man, you really want me screaming in the mic?
Yeah.
Okay. Ah!
That's hilarious. I always love dropping that one on people.
You're gonna make my baby
Three
cry.
things. Three things you're most grateful for.
My fiance, my baby girl, and business.
Love it. And if you had a billboard for the world to see with your last piece of content on it,
And
what's
let
that
me just
billboard
make
read?
sure I don't want my son to think that I'm not grateful for him. I
Yeah.
meant to say my daughter and my son. So, because I'm very
Yeah. There
grateful
you
for my
go.
son too. Yep.
So, yeah, you definitely add that in there.
Yep.
And do if you had a billboard for the world to see with your last piece of content on it, what's that billboard read?
How you do anything is how you do everything.
Boom. Love it. Crush that
Yep.
rapid fire round, Josh. And listen, man, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge you. Thank you, bro, for sharing your love, your light, your wisdom,
Yeah. Thanks.
and just keeping it real with the happy hustlers out there, and just for your connection, man, and your brotherhood, dude. Looking forward to collabing in the future, and yeah, man, just having more great laughs. There's a running joke inside the Montana Mastermind, called Bukaki. We're not going to talk about it here, but it's an inside joke, and we have some lots of giggles together. So uh,
Yeah.
appreciate you, man. I just want to say thank you for playing all out.
Yeah, no, hey, man, I'm grateful, man, that we had the conversation. You invited me to the mastermind. You killed it on the mastermind and really just gave us an incredible experience. It was super impactful, and I appreciate all the work that went into that. And I appreciate you having me on this podcast too, man.
Thank you, brother. All right. Just for everyone out there, recapping, check out Josh. You can go to the link to connect to his free group. And also, where can people go to follow you online as well? I know you're pretty active in the social channels.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, you can go to arm5formula.com. You could go to LinkedIn, search for my name, Joshua Marsden. You can find me on there. But Facebook and that group is definitely the best place, just because that's where I dedicate some time. Because I have to be very careful with where I put my time as a business owner, so I can maximize the impact I can have on my business and everybody involved with it. So I would recommend the group first, but LinkedIn or arm5formula.com would be best.
Awesome. Love it. Now, final question, bro. What does happy hustling mean to you?
That means enjoy the hustle. Always enjoy the hustle. Always put on that attitude. Appreciate the process. Appreciate the work day to day. Really focus on play by play as opposed to the big picture. Have a big picture, but just don't get overwhelmed by it and don't get stressed out by it. And just really focus on every action you can take to get closer and closer to that, because that's going to make you happier. And as long as you've got the right attitude, then you're going to hustle through
Boom. Mic drop. Josh Marston, y'all. Thanks for watching and listening. We are out. Peace and love, everybody.